Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio, this is the Ramsey Show. It's where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life, specifically your money, your relationships, and your work. You cannot enjoy life if those three areas of your life aren't in alignment and there is peace in those areas, and we're here to help you. The number is 888-825-5225. It's 888-825-5225 to jump in. I'm Ken Coleman. I'm joined by my colleague, Dr. John Deloney, and we're here for you this hour. And so it's time. Some of you are going, I've been listening, I've been watching, and I need some guidance, and we're here to help. Again, the number is 888-825-5225. Fantastic looking live studio audience in the lobby, John.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. They're probably here to see Dave, but you got us, guys. It's good to see you.
It's okay. We're used to disappointing people. It won't faze us at all. Let's get to Trevor to get the calls and the coaching started. Trevor joins us in Detroit, Michigan. Trevor, how can we help?
Hi. So I'm in college right now, and I'm here to ask you whether or not you think I'm making the right choice to be in college, because it's about $125,000, and I'm going for business. And I already have about $40,000 saved.
Okay. Are you a freshman, sophomore? Where are you at in the journey?
I just finished my first year.
Okay. And you got $40,000 saved.
Yeah.
Are you using that? Are you essentially, is that going to be whittled down over the next couple of years as you pay as much as you can for the $125,000?
Right now, I'm just investing it, and I'm trying to decide what the right thing to do with it is.
How are you paying for school?
I have loans out right now, just student loans, and my dad is paying the interest off on it. So he's paying the interest off until I'm done, like I graduate.
So 3 years from now, you're going to have $125,000 in debt.
Yes.
Okay. Do not do that.
Yeah, for sure. Whether college is the issue or not, we'll get to that.
What happened after this first year that is making you rethink your plan?
Well, I already have my own kind of small business. I'm actually working right now, but I'm only 18 years old, and I have $40,000 in the bank, and I think I'm on track to have $100,000 by the time I graduate.
What's the business?
I do mobile car detailing.
And what are you going to make this year? Give us a realistic projection.
So the thing is, I can only do it during the summer. I can't do it when I'm in college. So around maybe a little over $15,000 this summer.
All right, and let me ask you this. Have you done it enough to where you can say with certainty that this is something that you want to do at least for, let's call it, the next 3, 5, 7 years? Doesn't mean you're locked into that business for the rest of your life, but you know you want to do it, or it has revealed to you that you want to work for yourself and be an entrepreneur. What's the answer to that question?
I know 100% I want to work for myself, and I'm definitely willing to do this for at least a few more years.
And then come up with the next idea, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I personally, this is how we answer. What would I do if I were you? And I'm going to take another step and answer it as if I were your dad. If I were your dad and if I were you, I would be fine with you pausing the college journey right now. Because number one, you don't have the money for it. You got 40 of the 125, but even then, you don't have the money and you have to work like crazy to pay your way through. I don't think a business degree is going to teach you anything that you won't learn working for yourself and hanging out with small business owners who maybe are in the same industry that you're in or in a similar type journey that you're in, where they started young and they've worked their way into it and they're multimillionaires and they employ 20 people, 40 people, 60 people, whatever. I just got to tell you, if I were you, I would not finish college, and I'd get out of that loan and I'd pay off whatever you've loaned to this point. I'd pay it off and I would go work for myself. You can always go back to school.
Right.
But in this case, the two-part question, John, that I always ask people that I think really brings it right down to brass tacks. Is college, specifically a degree, the only way to do what you want to do, or is it the best way? And in this case, Trevor, I think the answer is no. It's not the best way. It's certainly not the only way.
Well, and I just did a quick Google search while we were talking, and the Michigan Reconnect Scholarship. If you turn 25, community college is free where you live.
Okay.
And so there's something to be said for you have a year of credits. Go work for a full year. And by the way, I don't believe you that you can't do mobile detailing and go to college at the same time. That's not true. But you can get out and work hard. And when I say work hard, I mean work really, really hard. And you've got a year of college under your belt. You got a year of working really hard under your belt. Then you can make an informed decision. Right now, I feel like your main goal in life isn't starting a business. It isn't getting a career. It isn't getting a degree. Your main goal is getting $100,000 in the bank. Like it's some like unicorn that you want to capture. Am I onto something?
Yeah. Can I just say the only reason I can't do it year round is because I'm in Michigan. So with snow and stuff, I can't work outside when it's snowing, you know?
No, I agree with you on that. And you can't do it full time to make the kind of money you want to make and go to school. And I think in this case, choosing to work for yourself is the better choice.
So what are you going to do in the off months?
I've been door dashing. It's like a delivery app, and I actually make pretty surprisingly good money.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with Ken. College isn't for you right now.
Yeah,
because your head's other places.
John, I want him to keep learning.
Yeah.
I'd like you to go to a couple of entrepreneurial conferences, business conferences, start reading some books.
Start taking people to coffee who are running small businesses in your area and say, I'm a young gun and I want to learn. Yeah. And they'd love to teach you.
Yeah. But Trevor, is your dad going to be okay with this?
He actually owns his own business, and he completely understands, and he didn't know if I was making the right choice either. But every time that I tell him that I'm worried about the cost, he compares it to my sister. He just says that he's more worried about whether it's going to be worth it for her or not, her going to college. And
that's not helpful. That's not helpful.
I know, exactly.
Yeah, so bottom line is, my point is, I just wanted to ask while we got John here if there was going to be tension in letting Dad know this. It doesn't sound like there is. So you know what? This is a good move, my friend. Put it on pause. I would absolutely follow
whatever loans you've run up, pay off right now.
Pay them off.
You borrowed that money. You signed your name to it with $40,000 in the bank. As a taxpayer, I don't feel like I have to pay your bill. Yeah. You've got the money. Go pay it. Okay?
And hang on the line, Trevor. I'm going to give you a copy of my book, The Proximity Principle, which is all about getting around people that are doing what you want to do. So right now, car detailing, that's a thing you do because you like working for yourself. I would suggest you enjoy the output of that. I think making something look orderly, look nice. I think there's something artistic there for you, something that feels efficient and excellent. I think that's great. But The Proximity Principle is a book you need to read. And I want you to start hanging out with other entrepreneurs in different fields that you're interested in because you're very young right now. And also, hang on, let's also give him a Get Clear career assessment, which will give you a detailed report on the uniqueness of you, what you do best, what you love to do, and what motivates you. I'm excited, John, when I hear from young people like this who are, they're wired to work for themselves and solve problems. And it's all about figuring out those problems they most want to solve. I love that. He is John Deloney. I'm Ken Coleman. This is The Ramsey Show. Don't move. More of your calls coming up.
Hey folks, you know that sinking feeling when you make an offer on a house you love and then you hear there's another offer? You need the Churchill Mortgage Home Buyer Edge. Super fast pre-approval and a secured interest rate. Plus a $5,000 seller guarantee gives your offer the best chance of being accepted. The Home Buyer Edge from Churchill gives you an advantage over those other guys. Go to churchillmortgage.com today to learn more.
Welcome back, America. You've joined the conversation here on The Ramsey Show. We're talking about your life, specifically your money, your relationships, and your work. I'm Ken Coleman. I'm joined by my colleague, Dr. John Deloney. If you're new to the show, welcome aboard. We are going to take your money calls today, but John, as our resident PhD times 2, is our relationship mental health expert, and I don't have a degree. I just worked hard and got here, and I'm the work expert, and so we're going to take on some of those calls today. And John and I do a fun little event. I say event, it's a pre-event at our Building Wealth Tour where we just take questions from the crowd, and you wouldn't believe the amount of synergy between people who are unhappy at work and are dragging that home, or unhappy at home and dragging it to work. And so if you're in that position today, if you've got a really, really toxic situation at work, it's a rare opportunity to get some of the tactical and then the emotional advice and the mental health advice, John, because this is an exploding issue.
Yeah, or if your marriage is gotten sideways, or your kids are home for the summer and you don't know which way is up, and that's affecting your work life, give us a call, man. Give us a call.
Absolutely. To that end, the guys, they shared something with me, John, and I'm just going to breeze through this, and we're going to get right to the phones, 888-825-5225. But we were talking during the break, and we just took a call in the last segment for a young man who's finished his freshman year, and he's asking us, hey, should I continue the degree? And so this is an interesting list of 25 high-paying jobs that don't require a 4-year degree. And both of us have spent time with Mike Rowe recently. We talk about this stuff all the time, about all the opportunities to work and to do very, very well. And so I'm going to skip through a lot of these. And these are median salaries, all right? So when you hear this is not the max. This is a median, okay? But when you look at police officers and detectives, one that popped out to me, number 8 on the list with a median salary of $66,000. I bring this up because there is a massive need here in this area, because we've been through a very volatile season of and you have a very personal connection to this with your father, some of the work you've done, and I just was curious. As you look at our society today, and we see that police officers and detectives are number 8 on this list of high-paying jobs that don't require a 4-year degree, what's the mindset? What's the health, the mental health that someone would need to survive a very tough job like police officer and detective?
You have to be driven by a sense of purpose that is far beyond you. Because here's what I know. I know Dave takes care of us very well financially. And I don't have to put special clothes on every time I leave my house because I might get shot.
Right.
I also don't have people out protesting in front of my business telling me they hate me and they wish I would go away. They also, I remember being a young kid and my mom told me, you can't be a policeman when you grow up. And I said, why? And she said, because every day your dad goes to work, I hug him as though it's his last, right? So you have to be in this for more. It's embarrassing what we pay police officers. It's as a taxpayer, it's insulting that my tax dollars don't go to more police officers.
To your point, a median salary here of $66,000.
It's insane to me. It's insane to me.
Right. Versus an elevator installer and repair is number 2 on this list.
Yeah.
With a median salary of $97,000. Now, again, what we're pointing out here is high-paying jobs that don't require a college degree, but in this case, there's not a lot of job growth for those type of roles because you got guys that are aging out, in that role. But the police officer and detective, we need that more than ever in our society.
That's right.
Fascinating stuff. Number 1 on the list, and I bring this one up because of what I read about it. Number 1 job on this list, and this is again a list of 25 jobs that don't require a 4-year degree, air traffic controller with a median salary of $129,000, and all you need is an associate degree. But I have also read multiple studies about how high stress that is.
I've heard it's the number 1. That's the last I've read, but that's been years since I've read that. But
and I bring
that
up.
Tough job.
And so I bring that up specifically because you're here with me today. All right. So whether it's air traffic controller or not, let's take a job that, by the nature of it. So we're not even talking culture. We're not talking your leader or coworkers that could lead to stress at work and mental health strain. We're talking just you are on it because you got multiple gigantic flying cans of tin with lots of people on them that could explode with one thing. So the level of focus and pressure is the number 1 thing. So when you are in a role like that, because I think there are a lot of people who are listening and watching today, and they have by nature of the actual role itself is high pressure, which then throws off stress. What advice do you give someone like that as they're coming into that every day and they are in a boiler by nature of just showing up?
You have to, it's the same as if you have a car, and if you look at like NASCAR, those cars, they hammer the gas, right?
Right.
They hammer the gas. And they baby those cars off the track as though they are made of precious metals. And so You have to, when I look at this list, air traffic controller, elevator, if you mess up an elevator repair or install, people die.
Yeah.
Nuclear technician, come on.
Yeah.
Dental hygienist,
Yeah.
I need you, right? Diagnostic sonographer, I mean, all these things, aerospace, police officer, all these are high pressure jobs. So the idea that you just have to, if you don't get a degree, then your job's going to be less than, no, dude, everybody's in it. You have to put as much commitment in taking care of yourself and your body and your relationships outside of the office as you do about the job inside.
Yeah, so good. 888-825-5225 is the number. Let's go to Sterling, who joins us in Salt Lake City, Utah. Sterling, how can we help?
Hey there, John and Ken. Thanks for taking my call.
You bet. What's up?
Yeah, so my wife and I are in that point of sick and tired. We're $86,000 in debt and expecting our second kid, and we're pretty stressed.
Okay.
Congratulations on the kid.
Yes.
When's baby due?
October 12th.
How old is number one?
2.5.
Oh, man. Yeah. You don't even know what day it is.
No.
So very, very busy.
All right, so
yes,
you are familiar with our plan. You've got the $86,000 in debt. You called us today. What are you most stressed about?
So right now, from the way that we've been looking at our budget, we're $550 negative every month.
Oh.
And so just trying to make ends meet in terms of kind of what we're doing. I mean, we're house poor. My take-home pay per month is $4,500. Our house is just over $2,000 a month. So we bought too much there. Debt monthly is probably about $1,100, and then everything else is just living and getting to work and food and
what do you do for a living, man?
I am in tech sales.
Okay.
So my base is 86. Obviously there's more, but I'm trying to live off the base because commission ranges.
There came a moment when my wife and I were house poor with a newborn, and we sold our house and moved into an apartment. And everyone around us told us we were insane. In fact, worse than an apartment, it was a dorm or a residence hall. They told us we were insane. And we lived there for a little over a year, and it was the greatest thing we ever did for our marriage, for my parenting, for me getting well psychologically, and for our finances. And so
do you want to do that?
I know you
feel
do.
like we did something stupid. No, we do.
Oh, okay.
We bought solar, and we have to pay the solar off before, and so that because we didn't even put a down payment on our house. Our house was we owe $390. We bought it about a year ago.
All right. What's it worth now?
$402.
Okay. What are you in for solar? 75?
22.8.
Oh, that's not okay.
Yeah, but here's the deal: you sell the house, and all of a sudden you take that mortgage payment, and that goes into the debt snowball. You can pay the solar off. You're presenting it as though we can't sell the house because of the solar.
The solar's got a lien on it, right?
Yeah, the way it was is they said that when you sell the house, you either have to pay the whole solar off.
Oh, I see. Okay.
To move it. So that's where I'm worried is I don't think we have enough equity in the house to pay it off if we were to sell it. And we have just our $1,000 emergency fund, and that's it.
I would do one of two things. One, I would work 2 and 3 jobs like a maniac and save up enough money to pay that sucker off. 2, I would stop sitting in your house and spinning out and call a real estate agent and get some real numbers and some real data. Yeah. Number 3, if you have to go down to a credit union and get a $10,000 loan to get you out of this debacle, I wouldn't be opposed to that either. Yeah. But you have a math problem and you got some really hard decisions to make, and you got to make that happen.
Hang on the line, Sterling. I want to get you connected for free to one of our financial coaches that will walk you through all of your options very expertly, and they're going to give you some real hope, because there is. You're okay. You guys are going to be okay. This is The Ramsey Show.
We've been doing business at Ramsey for more than 30 years. By now, we're a well-oiled machine, but it wasn't always that way. Yes, we've always had a vision, always had determination, and a drive to help people. But what we didn't have was one central place to access all our numbers so that we could get further ahead or quickly see when we needed to pivot. We were always jumping back and forth between different systems and spreadsheets. So when NetSuite by Oracle helped us wrangle our revenue, inventory, expenses, and more into one place, it was a game changer. And NetSuite's #1 cloud financial system can help your business gain the same visibility, because businesses thrive on timely data. And NetSuite's real-time analytics can help your business have immediate access to your numbers daily, so you always know where you stand and you can move quickly. So go to netsuite.com/Ramsey today and set up a free product tour. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey.
This is the Ramsey Show, where we help you win in your money, in your relationships, and in your work. I'm Ken Coleman. Dr. John Deloney joins me this hour. We're taking your phone calls, 888-825-5225. That is 888-825-5225. The Smart Conference is coming back. John and I love that. It's such a fun day. It's our biggest event of the year. All of us, the big crew of Ramsey personalities, led by the chief kahuna himself. I don't even know if that's a thing. I just made that up. Big kahuna, chief kahuna, I don't even know what
I'll go with
saying. Dave Ramsey, Rachel Cruz, George Camel, Jade Warshaw, John Deloney, and myself. We are there to help you in every area of your life. It's a 2-day event. We want you to unplug and focus on those pain points where you need some breakthrough, a plan for your money, managing anxiety, work that you love, and so much more. Right now, for only a couple days, they're offering a special deal. Admission tickets are $30 off. These are general admission, $30 off, which means they're on sale at $49 a person. So $49 for your general admission to get in the door. That means you as a couple can come in for less than $100. You're going to want to move fast. This deal ends next Tuesday. Join us in Chicago on September 15th and 16th for Smart Conference. RamseySolutions.com/events. RamseySolutions.com/events. Let's go to Wilmington, North Carolina. Brian awaits. Brian, how can we help?
Yes, good afternoon, John and Ken. Thank you for taking my call. Hope that you're doing well today.
You bet. What's up?
Yes, sir. I wanted to hear your input on how to go about paying for my family vehicle.
Okay, tell us about it.
Yes, sir. We have made a stupid mistake. We do have a loan, a car payment. We have 6 children, my wife and I, so we pursued a 12-passenger van. Currently, our budget is in the negative, and so we're trying to figure out what to do with the vehicle.
How much do you owe on the van?
The loan amount is right at $29,000.
What is it worth right now? Resale, or let's go with that one first. What's the blue book on it?
Yes, sir. For private sale, I believe the range is in my area somewhere 27 to 29. Last I checked.
Okay. All right. And what are we going to do if we sell this to get rid of this debt? What are we going to drive?
Yeah, the plan would be we have some money in the bank. The plan would be to purchase a van that could house our family at our current size. Pay it with cash and be debt-free with the emergency fund.
Great. So this is the only debt you have?
Besides the house, yes, sir.
Right. Okay. So what's the question? This sounds like a no-brainer.
Yes, sir. Well, my wife and I, we've had, probably 4 or 5 sit-down talks about it, budget meetings, as it were. And
there
budget
we go.
meetings, that was a nice way of saying fights.
So how's that going? Who's saying sell?
She wants
who's saying keep it?
She wants the safe car, and you want to get out of debt. Is that right?
Yes, ultimately, yes. Yeah, I'd recommend that we sell the car, and she would like to keep it.
Are we at a standoff at this point of this phone call?
No, sir. We've talked a lot, and I think both of us are willing to. We've heard the other's options and what we want to do. But I'm not sure our hearts are fully in it. So really, I'm wondering, I am more than willing to keep the vehicle.
How much do you make a year?
Figure out yes, sir. It is right at 54 base, 64 with overtime.
Yeah, you need to sell it.
It's too much.
Okay.
Just a principle we have here is anything with wheels on it can't be, if you took the value of everything with wheels, if you have a jet skis, right? But if you have a motorcycle and 2 cars, if you add them all together, that needs to be half of your annual income. And this one van exceeds that.
Now, I want to go back here, as I got the good doctor to my right, so I like to stir things up when I can hand the baton to somebody. So you said, I said, well, are we at a standoff? And your reply was, no, we kind of, you just mealy-mouthed it a little bit, and then it was like, but our hearts aren't completely in it. So I want to know the real. Because the follow-up to that immediate comment was, you said, well, I'm willing to stick with it. And so I'm not sure that you guys are on the same page. What's the real?
Yes, sir. Yes. So we have talked a lot about future family growth. We both would like to adopt one day, Lord willing. So I think my wife would like to keep the car that would allow for the growing family. But I'm just looking at right here and now. Yeah, I wonder if it's the best option. I have been doing a lot of research into side hustles, how I can further my career and my full-time job as well. So I'm trying to make efforts in that way to keep the vehicle so that, my wife can feel peaceful and comfortable, and we can
not
also
on the same
our
page,
goals.
John.
Yeah, y'all are not only not on the same page, y'all have very different pictures of what your life is going to look like, and y'all need to get on that real quick, because 6 kids plus adopting a 7th and an 8th, and you working side hustles every Saturday and Sunday is a recipe for an implosion in your home. Your wife has
Yes, sir.
You've probably heard me say this, but we think in pictures, but we speak in words. And your wife and you are both saying family and both saying ours, and she has a radically different feeling and picture of what family looks like than you do. And I can't imagine having 6 kids with the idea of bringing a 7th and an 8th into this family. And my solution to that, to make that happen, is I'm around less.
Right.
That's a recipe for a meltdown. You have to right-size this thing financially.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we wouldn't plan to adopt until we were financially able to, of course, but it is something we consider down the road.
What do you do for a living?
I work in the healthcare system. My current position, I don't have much vertical growth, so I'm looking for what the next step is.
What specifically do you do in healthcare?
Yes, I work in the hospital. I'm educating cardiac patients.
What do you want to do? I know you're thinking about it.
Yeah, Ken, I'm considering getting your Get Clear assessment.
That's my gift. I'll give that to you, but just tell me, because when somebody laughs at that statement, when I make that,
100% know the answer.
100% know the answer, and I don't really care how it sounds. Just give it a shot for a second. We're tying this into this question. What do you want to do?
Yes, sir. I would like to start a wellness ministry, for lack of a better term, that could, reach people all across the country.
What kind of wellness? Mental health, all of it? What?
Yeah, all of it. Yes. I haven't quite ironed out the details, but
all right,
encompassing the whole person, as it were.
Okay, so can I be big brother for just a moment?
That'd be great. Yes, sir.
I love your heart behind that. I think there's a whole lot more discovery to do, and the Get Clear assessment will help you fine-tune that. But to start in a ministry, and a national ministry, I come from ministry. I grew up in it. It's been in it my whole life. My parents have been in ministry over 47 years. What you just laid out, while admirable and amazing, I want to also tell you it is going to be very difficult. And in the early years, and maybe the middle years, and maybe the entire years, it is not going to necessarily be a profitable venture. And I think you know that. And so I'm going to tie all that back to this question and what John and I have been telling you. You and your wife need to get on the same page, big picture of life, and you need to do a better job casting vision. And I think the money you guys have got in the bank towards a car, which is how much? You haven't told us yet. How much?
Oh, I'm sorry, the current vehicle or the...
No. How much money do you have in the bank? If we sold the van now, how much? You said you had money aside to pay cash for something else. How much?
Just over $10K in the bank.
Okay, so here's the deal. You're going to have to hustle. I like to go work and go hustle right now because I'd like to see that go to 20 grand. How quickly can you make 10 grand, busting your butt? You're gone for a little while, but mama and the kids will be okay. And I'd sell that van, and I'd buy her a nice $20,000 van that, again, is serviceable. It's not ugly. It's not disgusting. But it does what it takes. And you guys get this debt out of your life and just live a little bit and begin to parent, begin to plan, begin to be married together without all this stress of debt. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I appreciate that. Yeah, and the debt has been a big burden on me. I've been trying to maintain and watch the finances, and I see how it affects me in the home, and I want to love my wife and my kids better.
John, how's he going to be able to do that
The
better?
best way to love your wife and kids, quote unquote, better, is that you and your wife get away and get on the same page. This isn't a matter of better. This is a matter of she's pulling one direction, you're pulling the other. Y'all got to take that energy and pull the same direction. Y'all can do it, man.
Brian, you got this. Hang on the line. We'll get you the Get Clear assessment and have this conversation that John just recommended. Schedule it. Take the trip and do it. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show, America. I'm Ken Coleman. I'm joined by Dr. John Deloney. We're here for you this hour as we take your calls. 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Hey, we got a lot of new people, John, joining us all the time on YouTube and via podcast and, of course, radio and SiriusXM. And so if you're new to the conversation and you hear us talk about baby steps, and we've got these very clear, precise opinions on how you should handle your money or your work or your relationships, and just trying to figure out this whole money journey in general, go to RamseySolutions.com and click on the Get Started button. And in just a few minutes, we're going to be able to help you see where you are in this journey and be able to get the tools to kind of get caught up, if you will, so that you can apply the principles and the tactics that we give you. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com. And click on Get Started. Let's go to Iowa City, Iowa, where Bo is on the line. Bo, how can we help?
Hi, thank you guys for taking my call.
Sure.
All right, so I'll get straight to it. My room, so I have a renter, a roommate, and he's moving out, and I don't know what to do with my house based on my current income.
Okay, give us the numbers.
All right, so I make around $40,000, $19.25 hourly. I'm an IT guy for a company around here, and my mortgage is $1,350-ish a month, a little bit more than that. He pays me $500 in rent and then half utilities, which ends up being about $700 a month.
Okay.
So he's helping me out a pretty big amount, right? Well, he's going to be moving out, so I'm going to be taking over the whole thing, and I do a budget each month, and as of right now, it's just looking great, you know. But then I do a budget for after he leaves, and I see that after all my expenses, I only have $400 left over.
Yeah.
And
Why don't you just get another roommate?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
So I could, he's a high school friend, right? And I'm not really,
My high school friends
Not
are
really
incredible,
sure.
and I would live with none of them.
But Bo's the opposite, John. He's like, I only living with this guy because I like him. Is that what I'm hearing?
Right, yeah. So, I'm not really sure who else I'd have move in with me who I'm, close enough. Because it's a house.
Craigslist,
It's not
dude. You'll get a list. You'll get some incredible applicants. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Gotcha. And so, I know I have a few options. I've been thinking it over for a few months now, looking in advance. One of my best friends who does not want to move in, I asked him that actually, but he wants to buy the house from me for about $15,000 more than I paid for it. And I bought this house less than a year ago, right? And so, I think that's an option, but, and I've been told that I'm only 21 years old, right? I've been told by my mom that I can move back in with her for a small rent each month, and I have a friend in Iowa City who would let me move in for $400.
Are you asking for permission to sell this house?
Not necessarily. I'm asking. Yes, kind of.
I don't think you want to.
Wondering what the.
I
thought he does.
I want to know. I'm feeling like you don't want to. John feels like you do. What do you want to do?
In a perfect world, I do not want to sell this house.
That's what I
However,
feel. The way you said, hold on a second. The way you set up those two scenarios, I could just hear it on you. You don't want to move back with your parents, and you don't want to sell the house for $15,000 more than you paid for to your friend because you want to kind of have your own house. And so if I don't want to do something, before I decide on these options that I don't want, I want to figure out how is it that I can do what I want. And I'm going to tell you, this is an income issue. You're doing IT work. Is that IT support, help desk type work?
Yes. Yep. I'm the sole internal IT for a company.
Yeah,
around
but
here.
listen, bro, you're 21. And you've got some basic IT skills, if not more than basic. So I think there's two things that I would think of. Number one, how do I grow in my IT career if I want to go into IT? If I want to go into IT and stay in IT, dude, you're talking about hustling, a couple of side hustles or one good side hustle, some freelance IT work, and you're making enough money to do two things. Number one, have more than $400 left. Okay. Number two, right. Actually go, you got enough to pay for some qualifications. Like, for instance, Bethel Tech. They're a partner of the Ken Coleman Show. They got a 9-month program online. And for about $12,500, you could go through that program and you're going to be making $75 to $100,000 out of the gate. So how could I make more money to A, have more margin, and B, pay for some qualifications to move up? That would be the first two questions I'd be digging into before I ask for permission to sell my house to a friend or move back with mom.
And here's some simple math, man. If you get a new job or a raise for $8,400, that would increase you $8,400. So you said you make $40,000 a year?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
If you made $48,500, you a little bit more cover what your roommate's been paying you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know an IT guy on planet Earth that makes less than $50,000.
Yeah.
They don't work here.
Right. This is my first career job. And
yes,
so
and the people who hired you are taking full advantage of that fact.
Yeah. Yes, and they may be, maybe not in Iowa City. I'm not, but my point is, John's making the right point here is that, dude, the freelance economy right now is massive. Just go type in Google freelance economy or freelance job market and watch the articles one after another going, it's hotter than it's ever been. There are a lot of small businesses in Iowa City, John, that can't afford you full time, Bo, but they could afford
for
you
$700 a month,
for 10,
sure
15
could.
hours.
Yeah.
And so John's right. I mean, here's the point. You don't want to sell the house and you don't want to move back in with mom and dad, and you don't have to. You've created a narrative that those are your only two options or your best two options, and I'm not sure I agree with that.
And if you can learn this lesson I'm about to tell you at 21, you win. And I didn't learn it until I was 40. Whenever I see an option, like a set of directions in my life, and I narrow them down to either or, I'm almost always wrong. So when you feel like there's only this option or that option, you're probably not seeing the full field.
Yep.
There's always a third and a fourth and a fifth option. They may be ludicrous, but there's always another shot.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I don't want to brag, but my fourth and fifth options are better than your excuse me, my 3 and 4. My 3 and 4 are better than your first two. And as a matter of fact, I want you to just give the folks at Bethel Tech a call. Okay. BethelTech.net/Ken Coleman. Call them, talk to them, kick the tires. Check out 3 or 4 other trade schools that are in tech. And by the way, and then start looking for freelance work. Go look at all the help wanted ads, freelance, part-time tech work. And I think you're going to love life, bro. You're going to have a empty house with no roommates, more money.
Making snow angels in the carpet, dude. It's going to be awesome.
Yes, absolutely. Bo, do you believe you can do this?
I do.
All right, so here's the deal. Permission is not ours to give, John. But I'm not giving him permission to sell this house or go live with mom. What say you?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I got from your voice you wanted to sell this thing, and you had people pressuring you not to. I was way off, man. I think you've got 50 options in front of you.
Conflicted.
Do what?
Extremely conflicted.
Well, yeah, here's what's happening. Your brain is telling you to sell the house to just relieve the stress, but your heart is not telling you to sell the house.
My mind keeps telling me no.
Yeah.
Hey, here's the other thing. You had a picture in your head that you two guys are going to be roommates and bros forever. Like, dude, let's get a house. That'll be awesome. I'll buy it and we'll bro down. And then he moved out, and now it's like sad bro. And it's all good. Just the picture changed.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's cool, man.
Yeah, you got this, man. Listen, you're 21 with an unbelievable future ahead of you, and that's the mindset that you got to have. This is a hiccup. I get it. It's totally normal to feel stressed out about this change. But we've got to get on the other side of that and go, what are the best options? I think you'll be full of regret if you sell. I think you're full of regret if you live with mom, and you don't need to do any of this. Get busy, man. Take all of that pressure and all that stress and just put it into getting busy and making some more money, I think you're going to be surprised at how much of a lid you put on yourself. Fascinating stuff, John.
Yeah, man. Man, I can't tell you how many times I back myself into a corner and I create chaos where there doesn't need to be. It's almost never either or.
I love that.
Almost
so
never.
True. So true. Love it. By the way, we're here for you. That's why counsel matters. And if you can't talk to any friends or family, call us two chuckleheads. We'll give you a shot. And by the way, it's free advice, so you don't have to take it. He's Dr. John Deloney. I'm Ken Coleman. It's been a great hour. I want to thank the team for keeping us on the air and you, America, for listening. Don't move. More Ramsey Show coming up. Hey, it's Ken. If you love the show and want a deeper dive on your money journey, we have a weekly newsletter that gives you trending and helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for our newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio, this is The Ramsey Show. It's where America hangs out to have a conversation about life, specifically money, relationships, mental health, and work. All of those are tied together more so than ever before. The phone number to jump in is 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by my colleague, Dr. John Deloney, and we are here for you this hour. Let's go to Samantha, who's on the line in Salt Lake City, Utah. Samantha, how can we help?
Thank you so much for taking my call. I am on baby step number 5, and I have 9 kids.
Whoa!
And I need. I hope you are. I hope you're all are sitting down here.
Samantha, listen, I need you to know that sometimes I get some feedback from Reddit that I'm immature. And I just thought of 3 jokes that I did not make, Reddit.
Oh,
so
wow. I didn't
am
know
getting more mature by the minute. I just wanted you to know. Same team, Samantha, same team.
I'm so glad you're growing. Although as your co-host, I wish you weren't growing right now. I'd like to hear those jokes. So Samantha, baby step 5, for people that are joining the audience that are really new, that's where you're saving for college. How much have you saved?
So that is what I was going to talk to you guys about, because actually I did the baby steps out of order, meaning that my house is paid off. And so I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. Okay. So it's really 5 and 7. And right now, my husband, he works at a junior college here.
Okay.
And he's got a master's in software engineering.
How much does he make?
When he's not, where he makes at the college, he makes $82,000.
Okay. With a master's degree in software engineering. I'm going to come back to that in a minute. It's related to this question. Go ahead. Keep going.
But during the summer, he does have some high side hustles that makes up to $20,000.
Okay, good.
During the summer.
Okay, and those are those tech-related side hustles?
Yes, they are.
Okay, all right. So again, back to your question. My question: have you all saved any? If you have, how much for college?
We haven't saved any.
So zero.
Because zero.
Okay, great.
Like I don't have anything for college, but
how old are your kids?
What I do have is 8. My youngest is 2. My oldest is 18. So I have, and then we have 2 years in between.
Okay, and you were about to say, I do have, and I cut you off. Well, what do you have?
Oh, because he works at the junior college, his program is a 4-year program. So if our children decide to go to the junior college and go into software engineering, they have free tuition.
Okay.
But if they don't decide to go into software engineering and they go the 2-year college route and get their associate's degree and then move on to a university, they have free tuition. So their 2 years of school is covered.
Okay.
So that's what we do have. We just don't have anything on top of that.
Okay. And what is your question specifically for us?
So when it says save for your child's college fund, I did a little bit of research on your website, and it says that that there are like certain funds that you can get, not like Roth IRAs, but education type funds. And so with 9 children, and you can put $2,000 in a year, that's a lot of money. So I don't know how much, and I don't even know how much to like be putting in.
Can I reframe this for you?
Yes. Please.
Okay.
My head is spinning.
Yeah, your head's spinning. So, number one, the Utah Promise, I think that's what it's called, the Utah Promise Scholarship. Your kids, all 117 of them, have free community college.
Yes.
So as a parent, congratulations. I would breathe a deep sigh of relief. Okay? That's the right path for them. The second thing is, and many community colleges have everything from English to like metalworking that you can get some sort of certification in it. So there's across the board here. The second thing is, if they choose to go into IT after dad, they have a free 4-year degree taken care of. Another sigh of relief. Now, I've seen this done with a couple of professor buddies of mine and with some, especially in the police force at universities, where men and women will leave maybe they were making $100,000 and they take a job where they're only making 50, but they have 3 or 4 kids in the pipeline, and all those kids are going to go to that college for free. And if you do that math over 10 years, they're making like $300,000 a year, whatever it's going to cost. And so there is, the way your husband is working for less than his market value at that college, is from another perspective, putting money in their college fund. See what I'm saying?
Yes. Okay.
So
okay.
Hear me and Ken say, you are worrying about something you should not be worrying about. If I'm you, the best I could tell you is this. If I'm you, I would sit down with my 18-year-old and I would talk about the fiscal realities of our home. We have no money saved up. Here's the paths ahead of you. And that's going to be might be a conversation that embarrasses you or it feels ashamed. You have to sit down and have an honest conversation with your kid, and then talk about where are they, what are they interested in doing, what jobs interest them, what is in their heart, where do they want to go, all that kind of stuff. Ken Coleman has a remarkable education, get clear assessment for kids in education. Like what are things that you might be interested in studying, and free community college is a great place to start.
Yeah, right. I will tell you real quick right now, I am a homeschool mom. I do have a degree in elementary ed with an ESL endorsement. And so I have been homeschooling my kids. And so that is one of the things that we really do focus on is just making wise decisions. And so like right now I've got an 8th grader, just a daughter who just finished up 8th grade, and she tackles college level biology and is taking a CLEP exam so that she can get college credit for what she's doing.
And if you want to be a nerd, my mom went to community college and she's 73 and she's finishing her last year at Oxford this summer. You could do whatever you want to do. This whole lie that you got to go to Stanford or you're an idiot is just nonsense.
Samantha, really quick, give me the rundown of the kids. We have an 18-year-old, then what's the next one? What's the ages?
I have 18, a 16-year-old daughter, a 14-year-old daughter, a 12-year-old son, a 10-year-old daughter, an 8-year-old daughter, a 6-year-old son, a 4-year-old daughter, and a 2-year-old daughter.
I thought this was a joke. You literally got pregnant every 2 years. That's unbelievable. We should study you and your husband when you guys die. They should donate you to science. That's unbelievable. Okay, here's what I want you to hear.
If I told you that I'd been pregnant 14 times, but I had 9 kids, you probably would just fall over in your chair. So.
Yeah, bless your heart.
You're amazing.
You're amazing. So here's what I want you to hear. John's absolutely right. You need to relax. I'm going to give you our brand new, Ramsey just came out with our home study, okay? It's called Foundations in Career Discovery. It's for parents like you to walk all of those kids, 18, 16, 14. I'd start with them right now. Hang on the line. I'm going to give it to you. I'm teaching. We have conversations in a living room with real students. It's going to be great. Your kids do it, and you follow along and help them out. And I would be having these conversations to decide, is college the best way for each of these kids? I think you'll be refreshed to find out it's probably not. You guys are doing okay. We're going to walk through this process with you. Thank you so much for the call. Hang on the line. We'll get you that curriculum, Foundations in Career Discovery. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're like most people, your home is your most valuable asset. And when you want to make improvements, it can feel like everything costs too much or takes too long. But something as simple as custom window coverings from Blinds.com can completely change your space and add value to your home. We've recommended Blinds.com for over a decade, so you know you can trust them. From blinds, drapes, and shutters to motorized shades, they make it easy and affordable to upgrade your entire home, and their team is ready to help with everything from design consultation to measuring and installation. Plus, there are never any misleading quotes or hidden fees. Everything's backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee, and shipping is always free. See why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Go to Blinds.com now and save 45% off selected products. Visit Blinds.com today for more info.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by Dr. John Deloney. Excited to have you with us. 888-825-5225 as we talk about your money, your relationships, your mental health, your work. All of that can sometimes be in one call. So if you need some help today, John and I would love to help you out. John, this is very exciting stuff because your first edition of Questions for Humans, I mean, dude, when you came up with this idea, did you foresee it taking off the way it did?
I knew every step of the way. Every step of the way. Hey, people love the first edition of the Question for Humans conversation starters so much. We went back to the drawing board and came up with even more ridiculous, fun, insightful questions to help people grow in their relationships. And the new edition is ready for the real world. We've got all new friends, parents, and kids decks, couples decks, so you won't be running out of things to talk about anytime soon. This is especially important as you hit the road this summer. It will give you something to do in the car, which is fun. Or taking your kid to breakfast this summer. It's going to be fun. All right, Ken, here's a... I
want to ask you.
They pulled a question from one of these decks here.
Now, is this an actual... This is one?
Yep.
Okay, here it is. All right, John. What unsolved mystery keeps you up at night? I feel like this is something I'd ask Rachel Cruz, our resident conspiracy theorist.
So I had a this is my confession with Rachel. I'm actually a big time conspiracy theorist, and the reason the reason I give her a hard time is because I'm with her. The unsolved mystery that keeps me up at night.
What is it?
I want to know the truth behind the 1-year baseball excursion from Michael Jordan. I think there's some stuff that went on behind closed doors and then went behind those closed doors, and I want to know the truth about that.
I got to tell you, my friend, that's delicious. I didn't think, I was racking my brain. What's he going to say? I was thinking maybe some of the big stuff, like who shot Kennedy or was it real? You know, whatever. You went with one of the fascinating mysteries of all sports.
Yes.
Because did he leave because he was going to get punished for the NBA for gambling? Is that where you're leaning?
My hypothesis is...
I knew there was one.
That at the time he was the NBA, and if he goes away, NBA goes away because there were some precarious financial positions, but also there was some Pete Rose behavior going on.
Yeah.
So we had to do something.
Okay.
But we can't. So you're going to be embarrassed for a year.
Yeah.
And then you can come back.
Yeah. I will tell you
that's my hypothesis.
I like this. I like it a lot because that's later information for me. I remember living through it.
Oh, I do too.
And as a big basketball fan, you know I love basketball. I was shocked, but I bought the whole story.
Oh, I did
bought
too.
it hook, line, and sinker. This is a dude who's such a great athlete. He wants to try another because we lived Bo Jackson prior to that. And so
Chris Gaines.
There you go. So anyway, fascinating. All right, I like that.
That's
mine.
Like that. All right, here's my question for you.
Uh-oh. Is this an actual question, or did you make this up?
This actually, this makes me happy. You're the perfect person to ask this. What is a hairstyle or a personal grooming trend that you will never understand? For example, the soul patch.
Wow. You know, I have a lot of answers that come up. You know, I'm thinking back to my high school days. You remember when girls they would Aquanet their bangs into a complete
incredible,
like straight up. It looked like almost a water fountain coming of hair out of the sky. It was like that was one I didn't understand. But I'm gonna go with the mullet, even though it's really popular now. My kids are in high school, and my kids' friends are wearing these mullets, and they're crushing them.
I will never
understand the mullet. I don't know if that's the question. It's a hairstyle, I would say.
Oh, I think that.
But I will also say in the same breath, while I never will understand it, I will also acknowledge there are some dudes who pull it off. Is that okay to say?
I think it's like the soul patch. I think no dudes pull it off.
Okay, all right. I'm talking to a couple. I mean, not like a few. Yeah, so there you go. All right, well, hey.
If you have a mullet and sleeves, you can't. It doesn't work. If you have a mullet, you got to all in. Mustache, no sleeves.
All right, let me throw one at you.
And the no sleeves have to be really deep.
Yeah, right. Where we're seeing too much of your stuff.
Way too much.
What do you think about the mullet and the soul patch?
I think that they should listen to the Dr. John Deloney show because they're working through some really deep stuff.
They need some deep mental health.
They're working through some challenging stuff.
Well, there you go, folks. You can get it wherever you listen to podcasts, YouTube, and more. All right, so, hey, this is just a fun example.
I didn't even look to the lobby. Does anybody have a mullet out there? Because I don't want to get beat up in the segment.
Well, you wouldn't have to. It was my fault. I'm the one that talked about the mullet. Either way, you can tell these are really fun. We could do an entire show just alternating cards. It's a great product. And so if you want to get the second edition of Questions for Humans Conversation Starter Cards, they're on sale for only $10 right now. That's not even fair.
Well,
John's got to feed his kids.
I love it when Dave gives our stuff away.
Yeah, that's $10 is not a good deal for you. It's a good deal for everybody else. But you can get all your favorite decks today by going to RamseySolutions.com/store, RamseySolutions.com/store. All right, now that we've thoroughly entertained America, we have to equip them. Antonio is joining us now in Houston, Texas. Antonio, how can John and I help?
Hi, thank you for accepting my call. I really appreciate you guys.
You bet, my friend. What's up?
Yeah, so I'm a recent college grad, and my question to you guys is, should I buy a rental property or a vehicle?
A rental property or a car? Oh, you got to give us more information.
You're going big, Antonio.
Yeah. Do you have any debt, Antonio?
So I have a total of $10,000 debt, $5,000 from student loans, and $5,000 from credit card debt.
Well, you definitely should not buy a rental property now. NOW underline would be the key word here. So we want you getting out of debt. We want you paying that debt off. Did you get a job?
Yes. So I'm currently a financial analyst. I work from home, and I work for Verizon. So I live home with my parents right now, and I also don't have a vehicle. Okay. I've been paying I get paid weekly, and I pay half of my check goes towards my credit. I knocked my credit score. I brought it up 47 points within the last month. I intend on continuing to knock it down until I'm back at 30% usage rate. Right now, I'm around 45.
All right, Antonio, guess what my credit score is?
What is it?
I have absolutely no idea, and I could care less. If I gave you $1 million in cash right now, your credit score would not budge. It would not go up 1 point. Because your credit score has absolutely zero to do with how wealthy you are. It has to deal with what kind of boyfriend have you been to debt over the last X number of years. I got to get some debt so I can get a good credit score so that then I can get some more debt. And that will help me get a better credit score so that then I can go borrow more money and get more debt and then I can get a better credit score. It is a circular roller coaster to nowhere. So I tell you that to tell you the quickest way to get a couple of rental properties and actually build real wealth, real money, not Instagram money, real money, is pay off your debts, take advantage of living in mom's house. I would put 90% of my check, if not 98% of my check, and get all this debt knocked out ASAP. And then I'd buy me the most ridiculous beater car I could possibly get away with driving. And I would stack cash and stack cash and stack cash and stack cash. That's what I would. Okay. That's what I do in my house. Let me put it that way. And I know that's not sexy, and that does not play on TikTok very well at all. And that is the fastest path to being truly wealthy.
All right, how does that hit you, Antonio? What are you thinking and feeling?
I've been battling with it because I've been in the house since the pandemic started. So it's been 3 years, and with me not having to have a vehicle and working from home, I felt a lot of stagnation, and I feel like it's taking a negative toll on my mental health.
Sure.
Absolutely.
So that was one of the
Yeah, but
that was one of the reasons.
Antonio, listen,
Sorry, go ahead.
I just bought a car for my 17-year-old, so I'm just paying attention to this stuff all the time. And do you know you can get a decent car, and I mean decent. It doesn't have to be a piece of crap on wheels, but a decent car for $5,000 to $6,000. So how long would it take you to save up that money and get yourself a car?
It wouldn't take me long.
It wouldn't take you long.
No.
And it wouldn't take you long to pay off this debt, like John said.
And then go get a 1-bedroom apartment. Put a 9-month cap on this, or 6 to 9 months. By the time Christmas is, I'm moved out. I owe nobody nothing, and I got me a car. I'm gonna go get a 1-bedroom apartment. I'm gonna start from there.
Yeah. It's time for you to start living, Antonio. And the good news is you can start living, but no to the rental property until you pay cash.
Pay cash, pay cash, pay cash.
All right. So your best is yet to be, my friend. It's time to get out and start living. I love the call. I appreciate the call. And we're rooting for you, my friend. You got this. This is The Ramsey Show.
Y'all, there's a lot you can't control when it comes to healthcare, but there is something you should check out that can help. Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM is not insurance. It is budget-friendly, biblically based health cost sharing. That means a community of members helping share the burden of each other's healthcare costs. They help people just like you in all 50 states. So see if CHM could be right for your family. Learn more today at chministries.org/budget.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by Dr. John Deloney. We're here for you this hour, 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Let's go to the City of Angels, Los Angeles, California. Calvin joins us. Calvin, how can we help?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking the call.
You bet. What's going on, Calvin?
So about 2 years ago, I actually gave my brother and his girlfriend about a $25,000 loan to help them buy a house.
Ooh.
And in the time since that, he's actually paid me back his half, but she's only paid me back like $2,000 of it.
Uh-oh.
And so I'm kind of wondering, how can I bring this up without it being like a huge family fight?
You cannot.
I was going to say, what's it been like? Tell John, what's it been like so far? Because if your brother's paid his share, but she hasn't, there's got to be some conversations. What do we know? Tell us what we don't know.
So I've talked to him about it, and basically what he told me is she has the money. She's capable of paying it back, but she's just choosing not to. Ooh. And he can't explain to me why. And so I'm wondering, should I just call her directly?
Yes, he can. It's his wife. He doesn't want to talk trash about your sister. He knows.
I guess, but how? Yeah, I don't know how to bring it up.
You cannot bring it up without it becoming a thing. You gotta put that aside. You can do one of two things. You can say, congratulations, sister, I just gave you $12,000 to buy a house and I'm moving on with my life. And you can internally know, I'll never give you money ever again till the end of time. Or you can sit down and say, it's been this long and we need to lay out a payment plan and put it in writing when I need this money back. And she can lose her mind and get mad and all that, and such it is. Those are your two choices, man.
Yeah, the thing is, she has the money.
It doesn't matter. She's not paying you. You know why? Because she doesn't have to. You just got to make a decision. Am I going to do this one, or am I going to do this one?
But I want to ask a question, Calvin. John just laid out two really awesome, clear options, and your response was, but she has the money. What does that have to do with what he said? There's something you're still tripping up on. What do you mean by that? Why is that your response to him?
when I gave him the loan, I didn't realize I was giving half of it to her. I thought it was just a loan between me and my brother. And I wouldn't personally have given her the money. But now that then he told me after that they're going to pay it back half and half. So I just feel like I got a little bit duped.
The other side of this is, so I misunderstood. I was thinking this was your sister and your brother-in-law paid. This is your brother and his wife?
Yeah, his girlfriend.
His girlfriend.
Which makes it even weirder.
Listen, let me tell you this. If some weird twist of fate, I had borrowed money from my brother with my girlfriend to buy a house, I would feel some sort of obligation for the other half, especially if I'm still living in this house.
I think he does, and he's brought up that he wants to pay it back, but she won't let him because she doesn't want to owe him. I'd rather owe me. So now it's just becoming this twisted, like, circle.
I do think your brother's playing you. That's what you feel, and I'm starting to lean that way. John, am I wrong?
I would get so far away from them, dude. Your brother's not treating you with integrity. Their relationship is weird. I don't want to owe the guy that I'm creating a life with and sharing a house. Then they've got deeper issues than this. Dude, Thanksgiving's not worth this.
How close are you two?
We're extremely close. Like, he's like my best friend.
Does that change it, John?
He's your best friend, except that he doesn't tell you the truth, and he isn't like a person of character when it comes to borrowing money?
He is.
But except that he's not?
I don't know if he's scared to have the conversation with her or what.
No. Here's it, Calvin. I'm asking John a question on your behalf. All right,
okay, go
John,
for it.
I do believe that in Calvin's mind, his brother is his best friend. I hear what you're saying. I don't think the brother's acting like a true best friend. Agreed. However, I'm asking this from a completely just common sense. If this were my brother, and I have a brother, and we were close, it would be on like Donkey Kong. Like, dude, you figured out with the girlfriend, you duped me. You this. This ain't right.
Or I'm
going to
sue your girlfriend, right?
Well, I would just call the brother card. I feel like this is a man-to-man. I didn't say ugly or nasty or physical, but I think
direct.
am I wrong that this changes the equation?
No.
I think you got to call the brother card out and go, brothers don't do this to each other, dude. You got to solve this.
Brothers got to hug, man.
Yeah, you owe me the money and you figured it out with girlfriend. But him choosing girlfriend over you, I think it's a cop-out. And I'd call the brother card. That would be me. And then do what John said.
But at the end of the day, you got to choose. Am I just going to wash my hands of this stuff and move on with my life?
Oh, that's
or
true.
am I going to cause a scene? There's no right or wrong answer there. But listen, keep this sentence in your mind for the rest of your life. Behavior is a language. And what your brother is telling you is that he thinks he's above you. And he doesn't really care that you bailed him and his girlfriend out to buy a house. And your brother's girlfriend is telling you, I couldn't care the last second about you.
So true.
I don't like you. I don't care about you. I took your money and ha, 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 nanny, boo-boo. That's what their behavior is telling you. And listen to me carefully. That hurts, man. Beneath me and Ken, beneath me joking and being loud, that hurts. Because brothers are not supposed to treat each other that way. People that you loan money to help out are supposed to be people of integrity and pay their money back. And that just hurts.
Yeah, I agree with you guys.
Have you called him out at all? I mean, real? Have you?
I've talked to him, but every time we talk, it just turns into, I don't know, she just doesn't want to.
Yeah.
And I can't get any farther than that. That's why I'm getting to the point, do I just call her and talk to her?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think he's kicked the can to you anyway. And I actually love what you just said. That's actually phenomenal. Is that yours or somebody else's? In case I steal it, I need to give credit
What's
to
that,
you.
behavior as a language?
Yeah.
That's just across the board. Yeah. It's just
I know,
a mental health
I like the way
statement.
you said it.
Yeah.
My point is that I think his behavior is telling his brother, like the Calvin's brother is saying, I'm kicking the can to her.
Absolutely.
I don't want to deal with this confrontation.
But if you do call her with some very specific requests. Don't call her and be like, hey, when are you... Call her and say, I need the full amount of this repaid by this date or what? I'm going to call a small claims court. I'm going to fill in the blank.
And are you ready to walk or are you ready to fight for this?
No, I don't really need the money. It's more just like the disrespect, I guess, of her not caring about it.
And him not caring? You keep letting him off the hook, man. He's a part of this.
I think he's the culprit.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I might just forget about it.
Well, I didn't say you had to do that. I was just curious where your spirit was on this, because John's giving you great advice here. Walk away or give it one last shot, but you got to decide. It's got to be one or the other. You need closure. Yes.
Yeah, they keep bringing up like they're going to remodel their house. They're trying to buy a second house, and it's just getting to the point where I'm like,
that's
why do you hear more about that stuff than paying me back?
Dude, they're just spitting on you, man.
Yeah.
Hey, I got to know why are you letting your brother off the hook here?
Because I love the guy. Like, I want him to be happy,
I love
But
my
then it's
brother
just
with
eating
all
at
my
me.
heart, but there's also accountability.
Yeah, that's true.
John, I feel
Yeah.
like he's going to go from loving to resenting here soon.
You are about to, and this is from the great Esther Perel. Always choose guilt over resentment every time. Because what you don't want to do is wake up in 3 years and hate your brother. And if she turns into his wife and their kid turns into your nephew, you don't want to hate them. And so choose guilt over resentment every time. Feel guilty about making the call and being very direct and putting down some things in writing. It's going to feel weird. It's going to feel guilty because, like you said, I love him. I want him to be happy and have a good life. Absolutely. And you want him to do what he said he was going to do. I'm sorry, man. I'm just, my heart's broken. My heart's broken for you.
It's real life, and it happens here. Caller after caller on The Ramsey Show. Don't move. More coming up. Welcome back, America. You've joined the conversation here on The Ramsey Show, a conversation about your life and your money, specifically how your money is helping you live truly freely because you owe nothing to anybody and you live the life you want. Your relationships, your work, everything else ties into all of that, and we're here to answer your questions in all three of those areas. I'm Ken Coleman. He is Dr. John Deloney. The phone number to jump in is 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Our question of the day is sponsored by Neighborly, your hub for home services. If you're moving, you have a long list of to-dos, but Neighborly has local pros like House Master, 5-Star Painting, Window Genie, and Junk King to check items off that list. Visit neighborly.com today to schedule home service experts near you.
All right, today's question comes from Dennis in Washington. Dennis writes, I have $140,000 in student loan debt from my MBA. Ouch. My only other debt is my mortgage, and because of the pause, I have kicked the can down the road on paying my student loans. When evaluating my budgets for when or if they resume, they will, I will be miserable. Yes. And it gives me anxiety. Yes. I make $110,000 at my current job, and I found other full-time jobs where I can make $100 to $130K. I was thinking, again, anytime somebody says I was thinking,
I know.
I was thinking.
Wait for it.
Is it ethical or normal to consider? I like how he conflated the two. Mm-hmm. Is it ethical or normal to consider doing both remote jobs at once? Combined, I could make $230,000, if not more. I figure if I do this, I can pay off my student loans in 17 to 24 months. In 5 years, I can be completely debt-free with a net worth of nearly $750,000. I'd like to hear your thoughts.
Well, first of all, it is normal for people to think,
Absolutely.
how can I make more money? And we saw real cases of this. I've talked about it on the Ken Coleman Show, certainly during the pandemic, and we've talked about it here on the Ramsey Show as well, where there are still people doing this, and especially in technology, where they are fully serving both companies, and they are knocking down 2 full-time jobs, but the other companies don't know about it. So is it normal? Yes. Is it ethical? In my opinion, no. With the one caveat where I actually have seen this, John, and it's extremely rare. So when I point this out, I want to point out it's extremely rare where both companies did know about it and the 2 supervisors or managers were okay. But it's a very rare situation. And so it's unethical. I call it professional polygamy.
Ooh. Okay. So
unless the companies are aware of it and are okay with it, which is extremely rare.
You need to tell both people.
You got to tell them both.
Okay.
And no one wants to do that.
No.
Because you risk a situation there. So it's not ethical. It's cheating. It's it's professional polygamy. It's sister wives. You pick the analogy. It's just not right. And the reason it's not right is most of the time when you're trying to pull this off, you aren't making people aware of it. Now, John, I can tell you, I've been doing this long enough. I'm going to anticipate some objections right now. And so let's go through them. One objection is, oh, wait a second. What if one is during the day and I work one at night? Okay, great. Fantastic. I still think both companies need to know about it. I just do. And so if you're not telling them, which means you are withholding from them, I believe that is unethical. That's one objection. Well, wait a second. I can truly get both jobs done. I am truly serving both. Again, you're not telling them, you're withholding. It's unethical. It's not the right thing to do. And you can make a lot of financial sense out of it. I don't think you can make any moral sense out of it. So for me, yes, I understand it. It can be done, and it is being done. I don't think it's right.
I think the bigger concern here for Dennis in Washington, my fear for this guy is this. He has created a world, he has created a mess for himself. And he created a mess for himself probably, since he's got a $140,000 MBA, he's probably a smart guy. And he came, it feels like the bro science. He did some great Beanie Baby math here, and it's like, oh, if I do this, I get my MBA, and then they're gonna just cancel out the loans, and then suddenly it's 3 years later from this big promise, and like we've been telling you, yeah. It hadn't come through yet, and now people like Dennis are starting to realize, oh, I may have to pay all this back.
That's right.
And the other day on the Ramsey Show, Dave and I went through an article, and again, hat tip to the great Tyler Cowan from Marginal Revolution. Again, I was stunned. So there's 2 different loan servicing paths forward, if you will. Mm-hmm. One of them is the student loans are made by the government. The other is made by banks and guaranteed by the government. Mm-hmm. So when the pause came in, the government only has authority to pause one of them.
That's right.
Not the other one.
That's correct.
So you got an instant for researchers, an instant randomized control group. Some people got it paused and some didn't. And when they went and studied those, like right now, they just studied them. And this was an economic white paper out of DC. These are the top of the top guys.
I love this stuff.
What they found was those that did not receive a pause, there were not additional delinquencies. I wish there was a more fancy way to say this. They figured it out. Mm-hmm. They looked at reality and said, this sucks. And they figured it out. When their jobs were going away, when they couldn't work, they figured it out. The other folks who got the pause increased their debt by approximately 5% per household. That's madness.
It's crazy.
Because what they did was they had extra liquidity in their home, extra cash, and they used that for down payments on cars, on new houses, or on they spent that money.
Oh, yeah.
And it propped up the economy for a second, and then it further trapped those people down the stream.
Right.
So, dude, you've created a mess for yourself, and I wish there was a hack here, Tyler. There's one hack, and that is to get a machete and head into the jungle and carve yourself a path, man, and that is paying the stuff off. And it's going to take you a long time because you dug yourself a huge hole. Or find a job that pays you $250,000 in an ethical way. Right?
All right. I want to stay here.
Okay.
I want to go back to what you just said.
Yep.
With the white paper.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people listening and watching, brand new to this whole discussion, and I think this is a psychology thing, and I know you know it, so I want to dig. Okay. All right. So the people that were believing, shall we say, hoping, wishing, I'm giving you 3 psychological states, that Uncle Joe or Congress were going to wipe their debt clean. They ended up spending more money What is going on psychologically there when someone knows they got debt hanging over them? They are hoping, wishing, believing, but they still go out and take on more debt or they spend more. What is happening in the human condition there?
You take a breath, and the fear of I'm about to get eaten goes away.
Okay.
And you just instantly fall back to homeostasis. You go back to the way things were. And the way things were was I bought whatever I wanted whenever I wanted it. We also didn't take into account there was a pause, but people were 1 year into their degree. So they kept going to school, taking out more loans and more. So the whole thing is a mess. But I think there was a group of people, the world started shutting down, and remember the dominoes falling, and everything impacted this, and this. I remember that. It was scary. And then they came in and said, you don't have to pay this month. You don't have to pay indefinitely. And everybody exhaled. And then someone said, hey, look at this new car. And we are off to the next new thing. The other folks who did not have a pause didn't have that luxury. They had to figure out the scary reality they were in.
Okay, so what happened there then chemically? And maybe it's not chemical, but what's going on in the brain where
you're in a fight or flight, or you're in a state of,
because you said they relaxed.
Of peace. That's right.
So what happened is, I just want our audience to understand that this money game, we got to understand how we're wired. And when we sense some relief, is that what happened? They were like, oh, I may not have to pay it.
And then
they just said, I got options now.
In the moment you have options, every business in the world comes after you because they know you got cash in your pockets. And I'm not better. I can't defeat the neuroscientists and the tech folks and the salespeople who have all banded together to pump me full of ads every day. I can't beat them. And so the moment I exhale, when I'm looking at math and I can't feed my family, then I can defeat those ads. Because I got to feed my family, right? It's a scary moment.
So my takeaway, my layman's takeaway is when it comes to debt, you cannot relax on it. That fight or flight is a good thing. You need that intensity to be able to push through the temptation. That's what I'm taking away.
It. Yes, absolutely.
All right, there it is, folks.
With any sort of threat.
There's psychology around money, folks. Let's not forget that.
It's all psychology.
Beautifully. I know. Hey, that's why I asked you. You got the PhD, baby. He is Dr. John Deloney. I'm Ken Coleman. I want to say thanks to all the guys in the booth for keeping us on the air. And you, America, for listening. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's Dr. John Deloney. If you love the show and want a deeper dive on your money journey, we have a weekly newsletter that gives you trending and helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Just go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for our newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio, this is The Ramsey Show. It's where America hangs out to have a conversation about life, specifically your money, your mental health, your relationships, and your work. They're all tied together. Isn't that interesting? I'm Ken Coleman, joined by Dr. John Deloney. The toll-free number to jump in is 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. We got a fabulous audience in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions. People are just fired up. They're clapping or air clapping. They're giving John the rock sign. What is that thing that you do? Is that called something, or is it just the universal sign for I like rock and roll? What is that?
I think it depends on what kind of mood you're in.
It's adaptable.
I think it's adaptable.
All right, good. Because you make it's your thing.
It's a default setting. I've been doing a lot of rock and roll shows.
Yeah.
It just happens.
You do. You go to those things.
Yeah,
I'm always inspired by that.
Like them.
Here I am. I'm sitting on my back porch watching golf, and I'll pull up Instagram, and John's at a mosh pit, and I'm thinking to myself, it's not me, man.
When I was a kid,
I'm impressed.
When I was a kid, there was always one old guy in the mosh pit,
and now it's you.
And I realized the other day, I was like, "Oh, I'm that guy. I'm that guy."
Yeah, and I'm sitting there going out of admiration, but I'm also going, "Yeah, it's a little too loud and sweaty for me."
It's very loud and very sweaty.
I like the golf. The guy talks like this. Now putting a 25-foot putt, and you want noise and sweat, and it's fantastic.
My counselor recently asked me, "Where's a place that like you can be fully you?" And I was really
the mosh pit.
Yeah, well, I don't have to be on. Like you got to be on for at work. You got to be on.
Yeah.
Oh, it's right there.
It's there. I'll tell you one other place that I've had the unfortunate reality to witness is on the back of Dave's ski boat when we were tubing and he's trying to murder us. And I'm next to the tube and John, we're both in our 40s. And John is trying to come off of his tube and climb onto mine. And all I can think about is John's significant knee or elbows going into my face and killing me.
That's what
and he's like a 2-year-old out there. He's having so much fun. I'm like, be safe.
No, my favorite comment you've ever made to me was, "Hey, knock it off!"
Yeah, so true. I told him, I'm gonna die on this lake.
We're going 80 miles an hour down a lake.
Yeah,
and I'm jumping tubes.
By the way, if you wonder if Dave is gentle in dragging the tubes, no, he's truly trying to maim us. It is quite the scene to behold. But enough of that. Let's get to your calls. Gabriel's joining us in Atlanta, Georgia. Gabriel, how can we help?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. How you doing?
We're having a blast. What's up?
Hey, my question is, how do I get my wife and I to be on the same page with our spending habits?
Tell me about your spending habits.
Well, right now, for the past month, we've been on a budget, and it's going great. I mean, seeing where our money is going. The thing is, I'm getting a new job. I'm starting this coming week, and my wife just started a new job last week, and we're basically going to be making more money than we ever have together. And so, I mean, that's a great blessing.
Just for information, what are you guys going to be making together?
So combined is about $90,300.
Great.
Pre-tax and pre-benefits, like healthcare.
Excellent. Congratulations.
On top of that, I have a second job, which I estimate I can make about $30,000 doing that second job as well.
Is that in addition to the 90 combined?
Correct. In addition. Right. We're $42,500 in debt. And I estimated our annual spending, this is just our 4 walls and what it takes to take care of our dog, is about $48,380. $12,000 of that is the GOK fund, which is the God Only Knows fund. So,
okay. Could you explain that a little bit more?
Is that your emergency fund?
So no, that's going to be our annual spending. The $12K there, that's just like I don't know exactly how. I really don't know how my spending has been until now. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to say add to that budget or that annual budget $1,000 for brakes on the car or an emergency vet visit or
All right, here's the deal. Here's the deal. You can. Wait, total debt is $40,000. About, is that what you said?
Correct, $42,000.
Okay. So you can do one of two things, and you and I will still be friends. Kin too. Okay? Is that cool?
I'm not ready to commit to that yet.
Okay. I'll still be your friend.
Come on, Ken.
I'm kidding, of course.
You can do one of two things. Thing number one is you can look at your finances and your new marriage and your new jobs, and y'all can come up with a plan that works for you and your family and your home. That's great. Knock your lights out. Go get them. We'll still be friends. We'll still hang out. All that's cool. Or you can take the simplest, most direct path that millions of people have done and get your butt out of debt and start having the marriage and the sleep and the hooking up with your wife and the vacations and the families that you want to have. You can pick.
Yes. It's actually funny you say that because I feel like I want to go 80 miles an hour, just full gunning it, and my wife kind of wants to go 30.
Okay, but let me...
I could already tell you why. Can I tell you why she wants to do that?
Because it's Gabriel's plan?
Nope, because you are going 85 miles an hour in 50 different directions.
You don't even know. You've got the God Only Knows fund, and I'm not sure you explained it well, but I'm going to take a stab.
He doesn't even know what it is.
You don't even know. It's just a lump sum of money every month that you're not sure where it's coming from. So, my friend, your opening question was, how can my wife and I get on the same page? And the answer is, you can't get on the same page when you don't even know what's on your page.
You're throwing, you're in a library throwing books at her, and you're like, why don't you read these books? And she's dodging books.
I think she's going, slow down, bro. We don't even know what's in the God Only Knows fund. I think she's right, by the way.
So the God Only Knows fund, that's just it's like that we don't know what's going to happen, when exactly we're going to need the tires or maybe something for the vet.
Okay, well, that's different. That's not how we heard it.
But listen to me.
Yes, sir.
$1,000 in a savings account.
That's it.
and it should scare the crap out of you. You shouldn't be able to breathe because you only have $1,000 in savings, and every other penny goes to paying that 40 grand off.
What is the 40? We only got about a minute. Give me real quick. What's the 42 grand?
So 42 grand is 23,000 is student loans, 8,000 is car, another 8,000 is credit card, and then the rest is a bit miscellaneous between my brother and.
All right, here's the deal.
Mechanic.
Here's the deal. You make really good money. You just laid out a $120,000, roughly $120,000 income. You guys should be able to crush this very quickly. No more, what about this? What about that? We're going to sign up. Now, here's the deal. I need a yes or no answer. Do you want to do it the way that we've taught millions of people to do it? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
All right, hang on the line. What are we giving him, John?
We're going to give you Financial Peace University, the whole class, all the lessons, and I'm going to give you and your new wife the Every Dollar app premium version that will link with your bank for a year. We're hooking you up. You got to watch every lesson, and you got to decide we're going to do this path the right way, and then in no time at all, you're going to be free, man. You're going to be free.
Ah, I can already hear him snoring with peace. Financial peace. Good stuff. Hey, thank you, young man, for the call, Gabriel. Your best is yet to be, I promise. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back, America. You've joined The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. I'm joined by my colleague, Dr. John Deloney. And John and I have the really fun privilege on our Building Wealth tours. We've been out on the road. Some of you have been to these events. We have, I guess they call it a pre-session before Dave comes out and speaks. And we really just sit there on two chairs and we take questions live from the crowd. And obviously, John is in the area of mental health and relationships, and then I'm in the area of work, and you just can't talk about mental health these days without talking about work, because a lot of times work, the area where we spend most of our lives, is very, very stressful and a not healthy environment, and that has obvious impact on your mental health, which then, if you're not handling all that well, you're dragging that stuff at home. And so we take those questions. And so, John, I shared this data on my show today, and I wanted to bring it in because, again, this is fascinating stuff. The number two Google, the number two Google search phrase with the blank, I'm feeling blank at work. So this is a pretty popular search. I'm feeling blank at work. And the number two search phrase is left out. Then what to talk about at work is being searched more than ever in the U.S. So as they look at the trends here, this is a clear trend. Now, it's not just a workplace issue. How to make friends, where to meet people. Both of those phrases currently at all-time highs. So what we're talking about here is when someone is searching for, I'm feeling left out at work, give me some help. There is a longing to belong. There's a longing for connection. And let's add one more to this pile to get you to weigh in. How to make friends is currently 70% higher than how to make more money.
Yeah.
So I led off on today's show where I focused on work. It was a little bit of a bait and switch, but it was not the switch. And it was more people are searching for friends than they are raises.
Yeah.
And the data doesn't lie.
No, I think the conversation we're having globally and culturally about this loneliness epidemic, the idea that when your body recognizes it is lonely, you don't have anybody to call in the middle of the night to keep your kids if your wife gets sick. You don't have anybody to come over to your house and help you move a couch. You don't have anybody to fill in the blank. You don't have anybody to call. Think right now. If you're sitting somewhere quietly, think right now. You get a call that your mom or dad passed away. Who would you call? And if you have to think more than 2 seconds, there's probably a chance your body's trying to get your attention.
Yeah.
And so everybody's reading this data, and it's coming out all over the place. Everybody's talking about loneliness, which is awesome, but it doesn't cover over the fact that we got nowhere to go. So people are going to work and trying to solve this. Like, how do I make? I'm left out at work. How do I even connect? And then it goes to a tools issue. I don't know how to do this.
Right. Well,
or a skills issue. I don't know how to do this.
Yeah, and I don't know that it's 100. I don't know that it's they're trying to solve it at work. It's just we spend more time.
That's where they go with other people.
And so anytime I'm engaged in something,
yes,
and I'm a part of other humans, I'm trying to naturally see where am I at in this whole deal, and we need connection. Now, does your best friend in the world need to reside at work? I don't think so.
Yeah,
it's fine if it is. It's not needed. But the idea of just having a connection, and it was stark to me that this is what people are searching. I feel left out. And there is a growing movement. I don't know if you've seen this. I share a lot of this on my show because I've been fighting this issue because I just don't think you can thrive at work and grow professionally and financially, just speaking on pure financial and professional growth, if you are isolated at work. You can do a good job, yes, but there's a growing movement on social media where it's like, I'm just going to go to work. I'm going to do my job. I don't want to be friends with anybody. And we're not saying you got to go to happy hour every night with people you work with, but while you're there, you need human connection. True or false?
1,000%
Of course. True. And yet people aren't feeling that way. And so what's interesting is that people are searching this. So I'm bringing this up to you to go, what's your gut take as to why that many people are going, I need some tools and tips on how to not be left out. What's happening there?
I'm going to go back to, Ken, the same advice I give people when they call and they say, my kid doesn't like me, so I don't even call them anymore. You're the parent. It's your job to bridge that relationship.
Okay.
Very similarly, it's very easy for leaders all across the country and CEOs to point at their employees and say, they're just quitting and cashing out. Have you made an environment where they feel unified towards a common mission and they're rewarded in the right way and they are seen and they are appreciated and they're heard? These days of I'm going to slash and burn costs until my employees, those are over.
Yep.
They're over. Your business is going to fail underneath you. It's going to be replaced by somebody online, period. I had somebody recently, I bought some guitars from a guy, and he, as I was leaving, he looked at me and he said, thank you for buying from us. And it was a sense that you can get stuff anywhere. You can get it anywhere now. You chose us. Thank you. And I want every CEO to understand that choice is continuing to expand and expand and expand. I can, for the life of me, I don't understand the resistance to what if we actually made coming to work a place where people wanted to be?
I don't get it.
I don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't either.
Because every data point says you'll sell more, you'll make more.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
By the way, for the leader who's failing to get this, your ability to lead is going to be a lot greater, and you're going to get more done, less stress for you when you got people who want to toe their end of the line. But here's two things I want to get your take on. And I shared this on my show today on this. I think that there's this left out creep has snuck up on some people. And what I mean by that is I'm not sure it's a conscious choice all the time, but I think people are, I love that you said it's kind of on you, the parent, if your kid's not talking to you. And I think on these people searching this on some level, there's some things they can do. And I think that social media has made us less social. We're connected, but we're disconnected. We're connected to information about all the people we know.
We're communicating, but we're not connected. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. And then I think there's something else. I wrote this down. I think that because of social media, now this is not the update and the comparison and the connect. It's just I'm now more aware of things and 24-hour news. I feel like our country, and I think the pandemic lit it on fire. I think it was happening. And I think the pandemic made it about you're either a mask vax person or you're not. And I think politics was already that way. I think politics is even worse. And so we're at a point now where it's like, I can't be friendly with someone who I fundamentally disagree with on this, and this. And I guess what I'm saying is I'm afraid that polarization societal issues, politics, faith, pick the topic. I think polarization is pulling us apart. And I think it's isolation is a result of polarization. I don't know if I'm right. It just feels like that's part of it. Because I go to the office and I go, I could be friendly with this guy, but I heard him talk about this guy.
Well, I think it's one step before that. I think it's hard to even know anymore. And so
because everybody's going, I don't want to share what I know.
Instead of sharing because it distills down to 3 or 4 issues, right? On either side of the aisle.
Of course.
These 3 or 4 things.
That's right.
And I'm afraid to put mine out there because I don't know where you are on these 3 or 4 things. Forget the 45 million things that we have in common. It's these 4 things that tell the world you're on this team or this team. And so we just turtle up. And you turtle up for 6 months, a year.
Yeah. Which is, by the way, you're right, because what to talk about at work is being searched. And I think that's people going, what can I say?
Okay, yeah, can I talk? How do I I haven't done this for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. I don't have the skills. How do I go back and do this? And that's where I'm going to go to the leader. It's the leader's job. It's the boss's job to create an environment where people are interacting.
Yeah.
Just try it. Just try it.
Yep.
What if you made a business for 90 days your employees could not wait to get there?
Yeah, I love that.
I promise you'll make more money, even if it costs you more money out the gate.
And for those of you trying to search, feeling left out, or what to talk about, here's one thing. Talk about other people. Everyone's favorite topic is themselves. Ask them about their family, their friends, their lifestyle, hobbies. And guess what? You're going to find people that you connect to. And just be a human. You don't have to be an expert in some topic. This is The Ramsey Show. This is The Ramsey Show, where we talk with you about your life, specifically your money, your relationships, and your work. I'm Ken Coleman. He is Dr. John Deloney. The phone number is 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. All right, let's go. Oh, wait a second. I got to mention something, John. This is pretty exciting. Now, years ago, Stacy and I, we taught 2 financial peace, or we facilitated rather, 2 FPU classes back in Atlanta when we lived there. And it was some of the most life-changing, fun stuff. We still stay in contact with some of the couples that we met in those classes, and certainly something that changed our life. And if you haven't heard this, John, Rachel, Jade, George, and myself were all teaching facilitating Financial Peace University classes. They're calling it Take FPU with a Personality. And so mine is coming up. And this is going to be a lot of fun. I did my prep yesterday, John.
Sign up for Ken's class. Sign up.
Well, I was nervous that I would even be able to operate the Zoom, if I'm being completely honest. But after
I've got a guy helping me.
The crack course at the team over there, and then I know that
Alex is incredible.
Les is going to be with me on making sure.
Alex is with me. You got Alex. He basically makes sure I'm in the century. I'm having a blast, and man, sign up for Ken's class. You're going to have a good time.
What's one of the most fun things that's happened for you? As you're sitting there,
the level of vulnerability. People they came to play. They came to be serious, and so they want to change your life.
Well, fantastic. Well, I'm going to be joining. It's going to be a Wednesday evening and Friday evening course option, and it starts next week. So if you want to jump in, and that's a good time frame for you, go to fpu.com. That's fpu.com, and you'll find the class with me. We'll see you there. Jeremy's up next in Raleigh, North Carolina. Jeremy, how can we help?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
I have a question regarding, or really for Ken, and career-wise, but currently I'm about 2 years into my MBA, and I'm considering switching to my MSA, my Master of Science in Accounting.
Okay.
My career path is to be a controller with my CPA certification, and so just wanted to get Ken's perspective on that.
Yeah, okay. So you're 2 years into the MBA. How much time is left? And then the second part of the question is, I'm assuming you've done the homework, and what would happen? Like, do you add
what would
time?
Transfer?
What would transfer over to the MSA?
Sure. So I'm about 2 years in. I have about another year and a half left with my MBA.
Okay.
I'm actually with the change from MBA to MSA would also be transferring schools, just a better program.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I were to completely change to the MSA, it would be about 3.5 years. If I were to continue my MBA and then get my Master of Science in Accounting, it would be about 4 years.
Okay. And how much additional money to move over to the MSA? How much out of your pocket?
Well, so that would be the great thing is my employer just came out and offered that they'd pay for it. So up until this point, I've been cash flowing it, but now my employer would be willing to pay for it. They would be willing to pay to finish my MBA and then go on to my MSA. But in the homework that I've been doing about switching, I've started to have this consideration of just, foregoing the MBA and going right to the MSA.
Can you sit for your exams with your MBA? I know a lot of controllers that have MBAs.
Yep, I do too.
You can, just to be, well, at least for the state of North Carolina, you have to have 20 graduate accounting hours aside from your basic accounting classes. So it changes or varies from state to state. But I know for North Carolina, the MSA gets you very close to what you need for that.
Do you want
to? I'm saying, can you finish your MBA in a year and sit for these exams?
I don't believe with the course of study I'm in currently, it is possible. And sure, maybe with a different tailored plan, an MBA in accounting with an emphasis in accounting or so.
That's what
I don't know for sure.
I need you to get sure. I think John's on to something.
I'm just telling you. I'm thinking, and I'm trying to run through the controllers I know personally. They all have MBAs, and so
sure,
maybe they just say they have MBA because they don't want to explain what an MSA is. But I think you can, if you have enough graduate hours in accounting, which in an MBA class you should, man. Because here's what I want you to look at. I want you to look at lost time, too. We talk about, like, a degree costs this much money. This takes this long to do it. But you lose the wages you can learn on the back end, too, while you're in school. And so there's just a cost to your life, man.
So there's a lot here on paper that you gave us. But what I don't understand, do you want to stay at this company long term? Your current company that's willing to pay. Okay. And so are they willing? They're not willing. Did I understand they're not willing to pay for the finishing of the MBA? They're only willing to pay for the MBA if you then go on to the MSA. Did I understand that correctly?
They would pay they open the door to me to figure out what I want to do, and they'll pay for my schooling.
Okay. Well, to John's point, I'm not sure you answered my question, but I want you to dig into, can I make a couple adjustments on the MBA program and not have to do the MSA? Because I think John's right. The time on this is a lot of schooling, and if they like you and value you and they want you to move up the ladder, I would get their take on it as well. That's why I asked, do you want to be there long term? Because it sounds to me like they value you enough to offer this, and they see a path of growth, which I love this. But I just think you have to look at both situations. And I'm gonna do what I do a lot of times on my show. You called to ask us, but I think you have a pretty good gut feeling, and I want to know which way you're leaning.
I would say with the MSA, just because and the MSA program that I'm looking at would get me 3 out of the 4 tests through the CPA exam.
Perfect.
And then it would be up to me to get the 4th.
And you can carry your job, and you can still win at the job and still move up?
Yes, sir.
All right, so it sounds like I've been talking out of both sides of my mouth. That's exactly what I did. I had my degree, and I went another 4+ years, 5 years. My company paid for it, and that's what I did. So if Ken pushed you and you answered, as far as I'm concerned, you answered that the right way.
I think he did.
This is in your soul. You're going to come out here with almost all the way to licensure. That makes a lot of sense to me.
And the reason I'm slam dunk on it is because he wants to be there long term, and they've proven they want him.
The only thing I would challenge you on as just a guy from higher ed is just the currency of an MBA is different than an MSA. You could tell somebody at a cocktail party, hey, I've got an MBA, and they might be looking for somebody XYZ, and you're going to go, oh, okay. So if you're this close to the end of that credential, man, I would take a long, hard look at that before I walked away from an MBA, MSA, if you're right there and somebody's paying for it. That's just something to consider.
Would you consider me coming back to my MBA after I finish my MSA?
Yes. I'm a slight disagreement with my friend, but he's also comes from an academic world where he's in conversations where people give a crap about an MBA. I hang out with business people that don't give a crap. And I think that if you want to move up the ladder, so it's not that I don't disagree with John. I'm just saying I think the MSA is the move if you want to come back later and get the MBA after you find out if it matters or not. But I also understand the spirit of which he's saying it. You're already in it. But I want you to get on the right ladder. And I think you're going to make the right call either way. But I just tell you this, the training to get the exams, to get the promotion.
Somebody's paying for it. All the boxes are checked. That's
why I'm in agreement with you on moving to the MSA. But neither choice is going to be bad for you. You're a rock star. And can I just compliment you? It's a big stinking deal when a company's willing to pay for that kind of education. That means they're investing in you, and I hope you walk taller tonight because that's really great. We're really proud of you.
Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet. Interesting stuff there, you know. And I think more people ought to go to their companies and go, "Hey, here's an idea. Don't be, arrogant about it. Don't be demanding, but just go, "Hey, if I were to go get this, would you be willing to invest in me? Because I'd like to be here." What are your thoughts?
Here's something I did. I didn't even go that route. I said, hey, you provide this much professional development. You fly me to a conference every year, and it costs about $2,500 all in.
Right.
That's what the cost of one graduate class is. Can I trade? Because I think this class would be better for our company. And my boss went, done. No, not even done. Absolutely. And that ended up being a great thing for us.
Wow. I love it. That is good stuff there. Hey, really, really fun call there. I love that. All right, don't move. We got more of your calls coming up. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back, America. You're joining the conversation here on The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by my colleague, Dr. John Deloney. The phone number to jump in on the conversation about your life, specifically your money, relationships, and work, is 888-825-5225. Our scripture of the day comes from Psalm 90, verse 12. So teach us to number our days, that we may get a heart of wisdom. And then our quote from Frank Sinatra. As smooth as he was, this may be his greatest contribution. I'm going to live till I die. And he dropped the mic. Was Frank drunk when he said that? Or was he just feeling...
I think he was just being wise.
Philosophic. Yeah, I'm going to live until I die. Didn't need to add more to that. Pretty strong stuff. I love it.
Pretty wise.
Yes, it is. All right, let's go to New York City, the Big Apple, where Brian awaits. Brian, how can we help? Hello, Brian.
Hi, how are you? Thanks for taking my call.
You bet. What's going on?
So I'm looking to purchase a used car. We followed the plan. We saved up all our money, but every dealership we go to is willing to give us more or less $500 to $1,000 off if we were to finance instead of paying up front.
Because they make more money. They have an incentive to finance the cars from their dealership. They are trying to make themselves more money. They are not your friends.
So would you say forego that $1,000 discount?
I can tell you what, I just bought a new car a few months ago, and I said, I'm not doing that. And this is what I'm going to pay for this car. And I actually ended up punting out probably 2 or 3 extra months. And a really remarkable guy from the dealership ended up calling me back, and we shook hands.
Oh, that seems better. We were thinking of putting maybe like 95% down and then maybe trying to just pay it off all at once to get that discount maybe.
I understand that mathematically. It makes sense to me to say like, well, fine, I'll take the $1,000. I'll go through all the rigmarole. I don't want to participate in the game. And so if somebody says, hey, I'll give you $1,000 off, then that's telling me you can. So cool. That's the new price. You just said it. I'll write you a check right this second, and I'll hand you a check. And if you don't want my check, I'll walk out the door.
Oh, okay. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And all I can tell you is that's how I'll do it in my house. Like, you know, I'm sure someone can sit down and map out the math better than that. I'm just not going to play that game, man.
Yeah, I agree. And would you have reservations with purchasing something secondhand? I'm not a car guy. Obviously, I could save a lot of money. I have the cash.
What do you mean by secondhand?
Rather a private sale rather than a.
I do it all. I got to tell you, I've done it
all the time.
Yeah, you know, but let's do this. Ask them if they'd be willing to let you take it to your mechanic. Figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, and if they aren't, and if they feel shady when you look them in the eye and you're asking basic questions, then, you know, if it's too good to be true, it's from my experience, it's true. Certainly when it comes to used cars. But, man, I'm going to tell you something. I'd be all over Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, whatever. I mean, private selling right now. I mean, people are much more willing to negotiate. And if you show up with cash, I'll never forget. First time I bought a car from someone else. I was probably in my late 20s, you know, and I was just looking for something to upgrade. And I walked up to the guy. I liked the car. I looked at it. I think it was an Infiniti J30. It was silver, and it was a pretty cool little car back then. And he was asking, I think, $7,500 for it or something. And I walked in with $6,500. I mean, to this guy's house in his driveway. I looked at it. I liked it, and I literally pulled out $6,500 in cash and put it on the hood. It wasn't dramatic. I just went, this is what I can offer you. I can't offer you any more. This is all $6,500 in cash. And he went, huh. Well, young man, I believe you got yourself a deal.
Right.
And I just think that's more likely to happen when you're talking to a real person who doesn't have margins and a manager and all those other things. So, yeah, I would go secondhand all day long.
All day. We're going to put a link in the show notes to an article on how to buy a used car, and it'll walk you through all the steps you can take. I know that many mechanic shops across the country have a deal. You know, for $350 or $500, we'll look at at a used car, or $150, whatever it may be. We'll look at your used car. We'll do our 128-point inspection. We'll run through it, and we'll just take a quick look at it. But I think I would do that with any one of my used cars. But I mean, I wouldn't think twice about secondhand purchases.
And Brian, you know it's not the best deal. You called us to get our take. There you go. But trust your gut. You were right. Let's go to David now in Santa Monica, California. Oh, I love me some Santa Monica Pier. I could smell the food right now, John. Let's go, David. How can we help?
Hi. Thank you guys, first of all, for taking my call. My girlfriend has high expectations for a house. How do I afford it?
David, why are you dragging us into this?
By the way your tone is, I don't think you can afford it, and you know you can't afford her expectations.
Well, that's, but how do I mean, she earns a decent living, and we're kind of thinking about whether, you know, it's time for me to maybe propose, and, you know, but I want to set this out right before
David, you're my hero,
and that's why I want you guys' advice. If
all right,
you tell me no,
here's my advice.
I'm going to be like no.
Here's my advice. Advice number one is, and there's a moral aspect to this. Let's put that aside. The business-wise, mathematically, don't buy a house with somebody until you're married. There are legal protections to home ownership that don't apply when you are just dating somebody.
Okay.
If you are married and y'all get a divorce and you sell the house, there is a legal structure for how that separation works. If you are just dating, then you're talking forensic accounting. You're talking a mess. I didn't pay that. You paid the rent. I paid the. Oh my gosh. So that's step number one. Let's pretend y'all got married. Y'all go down to JP next week and y'all get married, and now you're going to buy a house.
Okay.
There's a simple set of steps. You can have the highest taste in the world, the greatest standards in the world. That is awesome. I love all that. If you can't afford it, you can't afford it. This isn't a matter of taste. This is a matter of math.
Mm-hmm. And unrealistic expectations.
Based on my math, I can't afford. I'm not even talking about what your guys' ratio is. I'm talking about what.
Then you can't afford it.
So David, listen. So you have to tell her this, because if you were to somehow try to make this work, those unrealistic expectations that she's got right now, and you start working through this, and you go, I'm already there. There's no way. then she needs to know that her expectations are unrealistic, and thus she's going to deal with unmet expectations. Then we're going to find out if she wants a ring.
And what
this is the reality relationally for you guys right now.
Yeah, you are going to be trading a house that you can't afford for angiety, extra depression, for stress that you don't need. You're going to choose to die young.
But I want to give her a number because she's going to come back at me and say, "Oh, okay, so if we can't afford this number, what number can
what can we put 10 to 20% cash down, and what is not more than 25% of our take-home salary every month?"
There you go.
As a mortgage payment. Period. I bought a house 2.5 years ago. That's the same ratio I use. Ken bought a house. That's the same rate. That's
No. But what her comeback to me will be is, listen, you bought your condo when you couldn't, and technically I couldn't afford it back what I was earning back then, which was 12, 15 years ago. But now, because I bought in a great neighborhood and I have quite a bit of equity in it, that's
when you get married, sell your condo, brother.
Say, why don't you use this same rationale?
Well, number one, you could say I was young and dumb, and if we want to go back 15 years, I was an idiot.
Yeah, but I want to know does this woman want you?
Yeah,
or does she want a house?
Y'all don't need to get married right now.
I got to tell you, man, I don't know, John. I don't have a good feeling about this because your comebacks are all based on you agree with us, but all you're telling us is what she's going to say. Yeah, but my friend, what do you agree with this because you believe it? So forget what John and I think. You believe it, and yet all you're worried about is her comeback, and I think you guys are miles apart on this.
Her comeback is a kid in a sandbox. Like, I'm taking my ball and going home. Yeah, we all did stupid stuff 15 years ago. Thank God we survived them. I'm not doing it again. I love you, and I love our future, and I love our relationship, and I love our future marriage more than I do trying to get the bathrooms to look just right. I'm not going to live that life.
No house, no ring yet, David. All right, John Deloney, great hour. I want to thank the team for keeping us on the air and you, America, for listening. This is The Ramsey Show. Hey folks, Ken Coleman here. Did you know The Ramsey Show is one of the most popular podcasts in the world? To get your daily dose of advice on life and money, check out all of our shows from The Ramsey Network wherever you listen to podcasts.